welcome to the official Doctor Who podcast. I'm Tyrell.
I'm Juno.
And I'm Christel.
And with the help of Doctor Who's head writer Russell T Davies, we're going to be discussing this week's episode, The Giggle. There will be spoilers in this episode. Sorry to freak you guys out with that laugh. There will be spoilers in this episode, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it and then come back here as there will be brand new information for you.
Heavy spoilers.
Spoilers are many.
So many.
The heaviest of spoilers. Right. Without further ado, then, I think we should go straight into the very first envelope. Who has it? I think it's you, Christel.
Oh, it's my go already.
We're all a bit shell-shocked because we've come straight from watching the episode, so we're all a bit... Right.
Recovering. I've only just stopped crying.
Yeah, if you guys need a minute to, cry, get some tissues.
We've got the tissue box for you.
Pause.
Might need those later.
Yeah.
Okay, straight into it. The Regeneration.
Oh, we're not wasting any time.
No teasing.
Oh my gosh.
Are you going to be all right, Christel?
Oh, do you know what? For a moment there, I thought I was going to have to say goodbye to my favourite Doctor. I know it's the 14th, but it's David Tennant. And I honestly didn't expect it to happen so early.
Same. And I want to say one thing right now. We all watched this episode together. We were all very emotional. I promise you, I could just see Christel just trembling in the corner of my eye, and it was almost like cut off my tears because I was like, oh, okay, no, she's. Yeah.
I was really trying not to cry.
Yeah.
Because if I'd been on my own, I probably would have let loose and probably would have, sobbed. It was towards the end that got me.
Yeah. Well, for the Regeneration itself, very emotional. I also didn't think it was going to be that soon, which is why I was very confused at first. And I thought, oh no, it's a little too early. I don't know if I like this. But then, plot twist, it becomes a bi-generation.
Bi-generation.
And out pops the 15th Doctor all of a sudden out of David Tennant's body. What is going on? How did you feel about this reveal?
I was shook. No, I'm going to be honest because I can't lie. I can't lie in front of God / Russell. And I had read rumblings in the darkest recesses of the internet that something was different about this Regeneration when the 14th Doctor sort of births the 15th, which it was amazing because, again, we've never seen it before. And I think, again, the reason Doctor Who has lasted 60 years is because it keeps surprising us, and I hope it always keeps on surprising us.
I think you're beautiful.
Still beautiful.
Yeah.
So I kind of loved it. I'm sure at home right now there are some people who have lots of opinions, but then that's kind of one of the things this episode is about as well. I'm sure Russell was almost like pre-reading, like Twitter X for filth by saying, everybody's got an opinion and everybody's right. So, but I thought it was glorious, just glorious.
Christel?
I think Russell had a lot of fun writing this episode in so many ways. But like you said, obviously, Regeneration, it happens every once in a while, every few years, and you do need to keep iterating on it and adding new things.
I respect that they did something different because that's how a show lasts for 60 years.
Well, hopefully we can learn more about how the show lasts for 60 years by talking to the chief himself. I think we have an incoming transmission from Russell.
Special treat, so you've now seen the bi-generation. And I imagine there's no fuss about that at all online. Nothing. Not a word. Barely a whisper. So let's try and fake some conversation about it, can you? What I advise you do is to go to the commentary for this, the InVision commentary, which will be available on iPlayer in the UK, and where you will hear astonishing revelations about the entire lore of Doctor Who and the creation of the Doctorverse in the moment of that bi-generation. It's much bigger than you think, and I hope could lead to all sorts of things that you think. So, I'd really just thrown it over to you, saying, have a listen to that if you can, and then what do you think?
Okay, so bi-generation. Apparently, Russell's theory is that when the 14th had bi-generated with the 15th, that bi-generation had led all of the Doctors to bi-generate all throughout time. The previous Doctors, the classic Doctors, all the ones that we know also have bi-generated.
So Tales from the TARDIS, those Doctors, technically, are they the same?
So those Doctors in Tales of the TARDIS, in the same way that they've said that TARDIS was a Remember TARDIS and these were Remember Doctors and such, they are bi-generated Doctors. They're own separate beings now.
Oh, my poor tiny mind.
But they've got old.
That's how they
But
got
do you know
old.
what
That's
that,
how they
but
got
do you know
old.
what that means? That means David Tennant's Doctor is going to get old with the Noble family.
Yeah.
But hang on, but that means there's also a third David, because he would have bi-generated when he turned into Matt Smith. So there's 3 knocking about. So there's one who's chilling somewhere with Wilf after End of Time. There's one hanging out with Rose in a parallel world, and there's a new one living with the Noble Temples.
Every now and then, a showrunner does something weird to the canon of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And this is probably the biggest. This is
You've
probably
gone
the biggest.
too far, Davis.
Biggest yet, isn't
This
it?
time it's too much.
So far.
It's a lot to take in. I
It's a
mean,
lot.
yeah,
It's a lot.
this is the kind of show that does like to play with its canon and reframe things and be a bit experimental.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're gearing up for some quality multi-doctor adventures now, though.
Yeah, did not expect
mean-
the 60th to be a partially multi-doctor story, but there you go. And I guess this opens up all the previous doctors to come back possibly in the past. Does this mean the Curator from End of Day Doctor
Yes.
is a bi-generated Doctor?
That
Does that make
fits in.
sense?
Fourth Doctor.
That fits in so nicely
Yeah.
because for so long I've wondered why the Curator is as old as he is. It's old Tom Baker. So, and how that fits into the canon. How does the Doctor become the Curator?
Yeah.
That's
it.
how he flopped off a tower and then became a curator.
I love it.
There you go. Yeah, it actually puts into perspective all the previous random. How did that
Peter
Doctor get
Davison
there?
in Time Crash.
Yeah. It all adds up. In a way, it kind of clears up some things in the canon.
In a way, it does.
Now they can all
yeah.
stop explaining why they look old as well. We can all,
Yeah.
we can all move past that.
Yeah. And
TARDIS Wikia is going to have a field day after this.
oh gosh, how they're gonna have to create a whole separate website.
But wait, nobody can listen to this podcast right now because Russell just broke the internet. So however you're getting this podcast, well done.
But I guess we'll leave that for people to discuss online. Like Russell said, there'll be a lot of. I'm sure everyone's gonna be fine. Everyone will enjoy it. We'll have their calm opinions on it. But for now, I think we should look into envelope number 2.
Which I possess. Let's go in. No great surprises. It's the Toymaker.
Toymaker.
He ate and left no crumbs.
Yeah, whole time. Not quoting lyrics. That's just hello in several languages.
The Toymaker
good.
worldwide premiere.
His accent he's so camp.
And now everybody loves the ball.
It's
I mean, it was a
perfect.
little bit camp, wasn't it?
Just a little
was-
bit.
yeah.
Just a smidgen.
It's a tiny bit of camp.
I think if you ask someone to play a villain and say play it as camp as possible, I don't think there was a better person to ask than Neil Patrick Harris.
He understood the assignment.
Yep. He's just, I'm going to do this. You can explain it how you want, Russell. I'm doing it like this. And I loved it.
What lovely teeth he has as well.
Oh, so
Did we all notice his lovely teeth?
His lovely many teeth.
I mean, it's just British people just don't have teeth like that.
But, I mean, yeah, the Toymaker himself, what did we think? I mean, Juno, you're a fan of the classics. How versed are you on the Toymaker?
I've never seen the Toymaker. Okay, now I'm not that old, but I was familiar with the notion of the character. But this episode was right up my street because I got goosebumps because I love when things go a bit topsy-turvy. The fact that the Doctor and Donna were in a realm where the Doctor couldn't talk his way out of it, he couldn't science his way out of it, he couldn't timey-wimey his way out of it. That, to me, is really good stuff.
Yeah.
Scary.
And the Doctor always, when he is out of the TARDIS and then doesn't have the screwdriver, as we saw in Wild Blue Yonder, all he's got is his big, beautiful brain. That game itself was creepy, though. The dolls of Amy Pond.
Yeah.
Clarence,
Again,
Bill.
I love the notion that this was like a reboot. It's like, they're all there. But yeah, and it made a point, and in a strange way, it kind of, you suddenly realise, because we were left with these quite warm notions of what happened to Amy and Clara and Bill, the phrase, well, that's all right then, you suddenly realise, oh no, yeah, they did all die.
But her consciousness survives.
Oh, well, that's all right then.
They all
Yeah.
joined the TARDIS, and one by one, every single companion since, with the exception of Yaz and Ryan and Graham, have died.
Okay, well, we love Toymaker, but I think we're going to move on now to the next envelope, which I've got myself. Envelope number 3 is Stinky Bill.
Oh, thank goodness. I was worried if we'd moved on from the Toymaker, we wouldn't be
I was
about
scared too,
those
but-
babies.
Creepy dolls. I mean, for me, I think episode 2, in hindsight, it's very much the weird one, isn't it? And then I think episode 3, particularly the scenes with the puppets, really, really scary.
Pure horror film.
Pure horror
The
film,
stuff of
yeah.
horror films.
Yeah. Oh, when the baby dolls descend onto Donna,
gosh.
like from the sky. Oh.
They miss their dear papa. They seek him near and far. They miss their kiss goodnight. They greet in endless night.
That Doctor Who, just scaring children since 1963, and it feels like the silence were really scary, the angels really scary, but it feels like it's been a little while since Doctor Who's been, like, I think there'll be some slightly angry parents putting some slightly distraught children to bed this evening.
Yeah.
Like, I am team wee baby.
Yeah.
Although I do like the bit where after Donna, like, basically chucks the what was it called? Stukely.
Stooky Sue?
Stooky Sue.
Yeah, against the wall, and then like breaks into little pieces, and the baby's just back away.
Puppies.
Shout out to the production designer, because the look of the puppets was chilling. I expect somewhere in a room in Cardiff there's about 15 prototypes of creepy babies. Like, God, imagine if that was your job. Like, I make the creepy babies for Doctor Who, but I thought the human puppet hybrid was truly uncomfortable.
When it turns into the Doctor as well. We've had sort of like 2 kind of duplicates now, haven't we?
Yeah, David Tennant's had so much fun just playing weird versions of himself.
Yeah.
With that being said, we need to move swiftly on because there is still so much fun stuff in this episode to talk about, which I think we'll be looking at now in number 4. Please, Christel.
It's me. Mel, Kate, and Unit.
Ooh.
Where should we start?
Oh, Mel.
I think we'll start with the return of Mel.
Was my companion, my first companion. When I look back now as a fully grown, fully fledged feminist, I can recognise that version of Mel in the 80s was not a great character. You know, Bonnie Langford is an amazing actor who was done a disservice. She ran around, she screamed. We knew nothing of her other than she liked fitness and shoulder pads. And within the space of about 10 minutes, we learned more about Mel than I think we learned about her in the entire 1986 season.
I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that 100% feel the same way. I think after last year and with this year's Tales of the TARDIS, a lot of like classic characters and companions are getting the full circle closure that they deserve.
I love that there's always a job afterwards, isn't there? And like a happily ever after, really.
I mean, as happy as you can be as a soldier with units who are back now with their very own massive Avengers Tower. I guess the Earth has had one too many invasions for them to pretend like they don't exist anymore.
I love that they have an alien thingy. I can't remember the name of the character. Because the cynic in me thinks we shouldn't trust that figure, but that's my alienism.
Thought it was like a kind of AI robot.
Yeah.
We'll watch the space,
Yeah.
I guess.
Those are-
I love that Kate got to be a bit of a cow bag as well. We'd never seen that side of Kate before when she lost
it's
control, and that
nasty,
was
yeah.
quite scary. Like, what happens if Kate Lethbridge Stewart loses control?
Yeah. And someone with that much power as well, losing control is a scary concept on itself.
I love Shirley Ann is great. The hot soldier guy is great.
And when the hot soldier appeared, I heard you in the corner go, hello.
Hi.
Now, we love Kate, we love units, but another big leader is calling us right now. Russell, what do you have to say to us?
This is something you can talk about online endlessly, but it's such a joy to get Mel into Unit HQ and to be there in the heart of the action. Bonnie Langford, just Bonita Langford, one of the great delights of my life working with her. But have a chat, have a think. Who else would you like to see in Unit HQ? You're not necessarily limited to 20th century companions, because people can step through time portals and things like that. Who would you like to see back working behind a plywood desk?
Ooh, who would we
really
like to
good
see
question.
back? I immediately have my answer, and Juno, I think you're going to agree with me, because I would scorch earth to get Martha back.
Yes.
100%.
I feel like, and Unit's the right, I mean, she used to work for Unit, then she went freelance, she got married, she's had 7 lives, and I just feel like her returning to this sort of new, rebranded Unit would be so
Very
cool.
female unit as well.
Very female unit.
Female, yeah.
Yeah.
Winifred Bambera. Let's get Winifred Bambera back as well. Unsung hero, the Brigadier Bambera.
Brigadier
Get her
Bambera.
back.
Yeah. Well, they already did my first choice, which was Ace, quite recently. So is Gwen still knocking about? Is she around?
Gwen
Torchwood?
is still alive.
It might be nice to see some surviving Torchwood members join Unit.
Actually, I concur. I would love to see Gwen back.
Yeah.
I think Eve Miles is one of the most extraordinary actors of our generation, and I would,
Yeah.
Oh, and who did back in the day, I can't remember the name of the character. Magumbo, Captain Magumbo.
What's she doing these days? Yeah, because she was doing Unit.
She's quite a famous actor now. She's in Only Murders in the Building, but she could come back for Doctor Who. She was,
But now, shall we move on to envelope number 5?
I'm ready. The dance scene.
I thought we might get to this.
Your life.
Yeah, we could not do this podcast and not talk about.
Doctor Who has been really good for dance sequences because obviously we had The Sound of Drums, Scissor Sisters, was it?
Yep.
And then I don't know.
Rasputin last year.
Rasputin very recently, but yeah, Neil Patrick Harris just he ate. I said this before. Left no crumbs.
Yeah.
Obviously, I recognise that before, and I was like, "You have got to be kidding!" And again, it's what other show can do that?
It's amazing.
What other show can have a celestial being killing people to spice up your life by the Spice Girls, lip syncing for his life?
It started, and I just thought, Russell. I was just like, it's got Russell's name written all over it.
Every little detail of the entire scene, I died. Spinning Mel and Kate into walls.
Brutal.
That was so... Because at that point, he was kind of just having fun. Next thing you know, like, both of them are on the floor. The soldiers get turned into those little baubles or whatever it was.
It's quite dark.
Very dark.
Yeah.
Brilliant scene. That will go down in history as probably one of the most memorable Doctor Who scenes, in my opinion.
Imagine if you didn't like that scene.
How can you not?
Imagine if you were at home thinking, "Oh no, it's too much." I say your life is not enough.
No,
There,
it wasn't
I
just
said it.
Absolutely right. And it wasn't just a dance sequence, it was a bloodbath. But enough about that scene. I think now we need to talk about topic number 6. Let's see. Topic number 6 is... cryptic. Happy Ever After.
Oh, go on, Christel.
Well, this is the bit where I'm probably going to cry again. I held it together pretty much through the whole episode, and then I'm going to cry again.
Do you want a TARDIS tissue? Go on.
Just in case. It's the fact that David Tennant's Doctor gets to have, like, a retirement, and it's like a happily ever after.
Because it's a throwback, isn't it? He did once say, "That's the one life I can never have." Did he say it to Rose on the beach?
Yeah. So he gives Rose the Metacrisis, the copy, the human version, so she can live a happy life, and then he can never have that. He gives that up so she can have that. And there's multiple scenes where, you know, he had a family sort of with Rose, really, with Jackie. Used to go in for Christmas Day, have Christmas dinner. And then there's that scene, it might be The Runaway Bride.
Oh, yes, Christmas dinner.
Yeah, and she offers him Christmas dinner. He says, I don't do stuff like that anymore.
Yeah.
And then he kind of goes off in the TARDIS. And so it's so lovely that he finally gets that happy retirement, that family, really.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Well, that's what you are. With my best friend, my brother-in-law, the evil stepmother,
Oh, I have barely begun.
and mad Auntie Mel.
Mad Auntie Mel. Mad Auntie Mel. I like that.
And I think it's also quite nice to see the Doctor. I know it's not the 10th Doctor, but I mean, it's all of them, really. It's all of the incarnations up until that
He needed
point.
a break,
He needed
It's
a break.
time.
You know, it's time, and it's sort of he allows himself to just enjoy it. And
Oh, that last speech about this is what I did it for.
Yeah.
don't. It got me.
Funny thing is, I fought all those battles for all those years. And now I know what for.
I think whichever doctor is your doctor, whether it's 10, 7, 6, 11, I think there was a cathartic end for all of them just with that one scene. If you loved 11 and you felt so heartbroken that he spent all those years on Trenzalore, or if it was 12 and you felt heartbroken that he had billions of years in the dial and so on and so forth, that 13 didn't get to spend a life with Yaz because she just knew she couldn't have that.
Poor Yaz, she missed the bus by minutes, didn't she?
By an episode.
Yeah.
There's probably a bio-regenerated copy out
That's
there.
true.
It's probably like
On the
running
cliffside.
her way back to Yaz.
Yes,
like,
I'm
I'm coming back.
But yeah, question that's sat at the back of my mind, and it's sort of the answered question that we're not really allowed to ask, but now we get to ask it, is how would the story of the Doctor hypothetically end? You know, they had the nice cathartic end of all the Doctors we've known so far, and we have this new sort of, I guess, revived Doctor.
The therapy Doctor. David Tennant is the therapy Doctor.
My favorite moment, I think, well, one of my favorite moments is Ncuti Gatwa hugging David's. Just come here. You need a hug.
I mean, last week we talked about, does the Doctor need a doctor? And actually, you know, who has the Doctor got that really understands the history? And obviously, Donna gets quite close to that because she absorbs the memories. But getting a hug from yourself, your future self.
It's okay. I'm here.
I think that's what he needed, isn't it? Yeah.
That's it. He can come home. He's an old soldier, and he finally gets to kind of put it all down and just rest.
And also, talking about happy endings, Donna as well, because...
Oh, thank God, yeah.
See, previously, Meta Crisis, all solved, all done, lovely. And then... lovely scene around the dinner table.
No, but I mean, that is interesting, yeah, the question of if you were going to end Doctor Who, how would you end Doctor Who? An impossible question, but they've done it twice now. Sylvester McCoy and Ace wandering off to find where the dinner's getting cold.
They just walked off into the sunset.
Yeah, because in a sense, it's a timeless story, which is I think, really beautiful, and the Doctor got to have his cake and eat it too. We're through all of our envelopes. However, our story has not ended yet because we have another transmission from our man, Russell.
The Toymaker said his legions are coming, and they are. Faithful viewers, listeners, podcasters, I can tell you they are. Possibly also involving pantheons of previous godlike characters. There have been gods before in Doctor Who. The gods of Ragnarok, for example, and other powerful beings who you can decide are gods or not. If you decide that the Toymaker is the god of games, there are other ones. So have a talk amongst yourselves, like who in the past would have been in the pantheon and what kind of gods in the future and goddesses would you like to see. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.
Bye, Russell.
Bye-bye, Russell.
It's giving Glory from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, isn't it? Glorificus, yeah.
Oh,
excellent question. I mean, my first thought is Satan from the Impossible Planet, Satan Pit, who is, I guess, like obviously there in physical form, but it was Satan. Like it was a being. It was this, this demon who could be out there still.
I'm going back through my file effects. We have Kronos, the god of time from the Time Monster. We have the gods from Greatest Show in the Galaxy, the gods of the circus gods.
Would you like to touch into more like mythological gods that we kind of know of as stories? Greek gods, Roman, Japanese.
I'm into it. Yeah. I love the idea that I think you have to be careful. I think sometimes, and we've mentioned Marvel, that sometimes the stakes can get so high there's nowhere else to go, actually. But I think sometimes bringing in sort of a villain who exists outside of the laws of science is enticing.
Yeah, I think a good space to venture back into, I really would love to see more of, not explain too much, but I'd love to see more of, is the idea of things from outside of the universe. I'd love to see more there because it gives Russell more space to be as creative as he likes. Right, well, as we know, while David has had his nice cathartic end, we are starting anew with the bi-generated 15th Doctor, played by Ncuti Gatwa. What do we think? How did we enjoy his performance, and where do we think the story's going next?
Ooh.
It's amazing we've seen so much of him because I actually thought that we'd see his first lines and maybe like a little scene at the end and then everything would be kept under wraps until Christmas.
Yeah.
But we've seen him in action already and like he is absolutely fantastic.
He can catch. The boy can catch.
He can catch, he jumps around.
in his pants.
In his pants,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he's funny.
Electric. Just
Electric,
that's the word I
yeah.
would use. Just
Yeah.
electric.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
screen presence is ridiculous.
He is beautiful.
He's
Beautiful, just the bone stretcher. But what's really cool, every single of the 15-ish plus doctors has a different energy. And how interesting that, even in that, 10, 15 minutes we had with him, his energy was so different to Tennant's, to the 14th Doctor's. And, his energy was nothing like Jodie Whittaker's.
How's it gonna work? You and me? This is great, I think. Is it? But how do we both?
One thing you need in this place is a chair.
I'll be all right.
No. You're thin as a pin, love. You've been running on fumes.
That's what I keep saying.
I think the story set that up nicely, though, because I think where we've discussed, the Doctor got their closure, I think this version of the Doctor, now the 15th Doctor, is one that we actually haven't had for a very long time, which is a Doctor with closure, a Doctor that isn't so much burdened by the trauma of the past, and now is just ready to just crack on into the universe with
his
a jukebox.
I know. It's a fresh start, really, and I love how he goes into his TARDIS and then immediately makes it his own.
Yeah.
Already he's got a jukebox, and the TARDIS, intuitively knew that that's what he wanted.
And a wheelchair ramp.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, look! Oh, that's not bad. Wheelchair accessible.
At last, you finally caught up with the 21st century.
Yeah, there's so much to love and so
I'm
much to
so
look forward to.
excited.
We don't have to wait too long.
No, a couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks, because we're coming into Christmas.
Amazing.
So the episode had a little bit of a teasy end. There's a lot of stuff going on. As Russell said, there's legions behind the Toymaker. The Star Beast hinted at some sort of boss out
the
there
boss.
in the
I'd
universe.
forgotten about the boss. Yeah.
And as the Toymaker vanished into the night, into in non-existence, the tooth was left behind, and a mysterious hand with
Well-manicured hand.
Well-manicured
Whose hand is that?
But again, my question to you guys is, what do we think is going to happen for Christmas?
Who is that as well? Whose
I
hand
don't
is
know,
that?
but I'm definitely looking forward to Ruby.
Yes.
First new companion in a while. Because, again, we know nothing going in. We don't really know anything about Millie Gibson's character. So I'm really excited to meet her at Christmas. It'll be good.
I love these moments in Doctor Who where, the Doctor passes the baton to the next Doctor, and a whole new audience is going to come to the show as well. As a fandom, we're going to gain all of these new people, and Ncuti's going to be their Doctor. Ncuti's going to mean to them what our Doctors have meant to us, and I think that's beautiful. And it's just, the way the show lives on like that is just chef's kiss.
Yeah,
Mwah.
honestly. And
Perfect.
I think there's... The exciting thing about it is that everything is new. It's almost like, we want to predict what's going to happen next. We want to theorize, and trust me, I do, and I probably already am. But the fun thing about it is that it's all fresh. It can be anything that Russell or any of the writers want it to be.
Stand by.
Where's he going?
Everywhere.
And on that note, I think we are done with the official Doctor Who podcast for today. Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to the official Doctor Who YouTube channel /podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast and wherever you're watching or listening to this right now. And I'll see you guys all at Christmas.
Excited.
Bye for now.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Doctor Who YouTube channel.